I'm super excited that Terrence Howard went on the Joe Rogan show to explain something that we at Omnia have been talking about for ages, which is this: charge, discharge, and the ether. It's so important to know about these three things because it changes our whole understanding of the universe and our understanding of our bodies too. So I'm going to give you a little bit more information than you got on the Joe Rogan show.
And they've done that with science for so many years. You look at E equals mc squared. That talks about expansion. It does not show how it's divided. If ever you've never breathed in twice without breathing out. You breathe in and you breathe out. You charge and you discharge. So everything comes down to just one of two forces. Either you're breathing in and filling up something, or you're pouring it out. Everything has to have the balance.
According to Walter Russell's science, which we swear by at Omnia because we know it's the truth, each atom is a torus field of light, or a light ring, and the light ring is actually the same thing as electric current. So every atom is light or electric current in motion, and the light ring obeys two phases. The light ring charges up and compresses itself into an atom. This usually represents the physical, the material world of atoms that we can see. So right now, all the atoms and cells in my body are charging up with electric current, and this makes my body physical and visible. But there's something going on in my body that you can't see, because after charging up, each atom then discharges itself into the ether. The light ring disbands itself and then expands out into the ether. Interestingly, the importance of the 0 point, the magnetic still point at the center of the light ring, is a part that Terrence Howard didn't cover, although I'm sure he knows about it. But this is the big news. The whole of the scientific world is denying that the phase of discharge exists. For example, Einstein didn't include it in his theory of relativity, nor in his equation of E equals mc squared. And what this means is that they've wiped the ether out of the equation. They've effectively told us that the world consists only of charging atoms, not of atoms that charge and then discharge. Have you ever heard of the theory that atoms or particles can be negatively charged? Well, in Walter Russell's model, this is nonsense. If you think about it, to charge means to increase, whereas negatively means to subtract or reduce to a minus figure. So how can you negatively increase something? You can't. Quite simply, negative charge is a theory, but it can't be the truth. It's not possible. Instead, what does exist is the phase of discharge. So the whole balancing effect of the discharge is not accounted for in science, until now. Walter Russell's science was buried, and now we're finding out the truth, which is really exciting. Another way to think of it is like this. Your body is charging and discharging when you breathe. The inhale charges up the body with life force, and each cell receives electric current. And then you exhale. The gases like the CO2 are an expression of discharge. Your body is releasing what it doesn't need. See how the effect of charge and discharge is mirrored in biology, in the act of breathing? Well, if you draw a comparison, all our scientific textbooks currently want you to believe that only the inhale phase exists in science, not the exhale, which is madness, right? Now I'm going to tell you about something really juicy. Do you want to know what frequency actually is? Everyone always talks about frequency, but they don't understand that it's just a number, like 1000 hertz. But this number is measuring a phenomena. Frequency is measuring the speed of alternation between the charge and the discharge. So if you imagine that each atom, each torus field of electric current, is flicking on and off, the speed at which it alternates between on and off is frequency. So it can flick on and off slowly or super fast. And that's why we have frequencies in the human body, in our hearts, in our brainwaves, and in all our organs. Because we are made of atoms, which are rings of light that are charging and discharging. Now, there's one more thing I want to share, which is some important knowledge that's going to help every single one of you. I want you to know that if you're using a phone right now, it's causing electrical imbalance in your body without you realizing it. The electromagnetic fields are causing electrical imbalance in your cells. And the only way to understand how and why this is true is through the science of charge and discharge. Basically, when you have balance between the charge and the discharge, you have a life-affirming positive radiation field, like the sun, which we all know is the giver of all life. But with man-made wireless radiation fields, which carry the data into all our wireless devices all day, you have an imbalance between the charge and the discharge of the electrical field. This means that EMF radiation is a life-destructive field, not because of the heat that the EMF produces, but because of the electrical imbalance of the field, the imbalance between those two phases of charge and discharge. And listen up, you're touching these imbalanced radiation fields all day. But the good news is that you can use our products to bring balance to the EMF coming out of all the devices you use. And this brings great benefit to your body, as we show in our tests on the heart, on blood, on body strength and water structure. The body's performance improves when you use our products. Find out how to bring all man-made electromagnetic fields back to balance at omniaradiationbalancer.com. Your body will be very glad when you make this change in your life. And you can get a 15% discount on your first order by using the code WALTER.
Everything has to have the balance.